Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where Zetavo soybeans are transforming the approach to soybean seed decision-making with trailblazing innovation and quality without compromise. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg reporting. Under clear skies, a beautiful morning, 60 degrees on the barn thermometer, and the forecast looks like it's going to be a great day locally with temperatures in the low 80s and sunshine, and a great start to high school Friday night football. A couple quick programming notes and calendar reminders. Powered by Soy Biodiesel, tune in at midday today as Ty will be broadcasting from Greenville, Ohio, and the Great Dark County Fair. Then on Monday, you can join him in Allen County at the Allen County Fair, thanks to Nature's Premium Liquid Fertilizers since 1946. And we'll be broadcasting from the Allen County Fair thanks to Timpty Trailers. Check out their new location in Sidney, Ohio. Taking a quick look now at our news feed and what's making top headlines at ohioagnet.com, the flooding conditions are something you will see a couple stories about today. Corn and soybean fields are mostly in that grain fill stage, and the yield impacts of flooding will likely differ for each crop. There's a great article up today from the Corn Newsletter dealing with adapting to the rains in August and how much is too much. Dee Jepson, who's a professor for agricultural safety and health at The Ohio State University, has an article focusing on safety, debris removal, soil recovery, crop assessment, and infrastructure repairs after flooding conditions have occurred. Now, not all the headlines are about flooding. Applications are also being accepted now for the 2027 Ohio Farm Bureau Young Agricultural Professionals Competitive Events. That would include the discussion meet, the Excellence in Agriculture competition, and the Outstanding Young Farmer contest. You can read more about that today, as well as a great article by Doc Don Sanders talking about animal reproduction technology. All that and more, as well as the latest in markets and weather, online at ohioagnet.com. And a reminder, today's news feed was delivered to you by Eberts Field Seeds, delivering proven local seed performance to Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Eberts. Call us at 937-473-2521 or visit us online at ebertseeds.com. That's EBBERTS seeds.com. Let's get a check now of your Friday and through the weekend weather forecast. This weather update brought to us by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company.
Good sunshine to finish the week here over the Buckeye State. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. And I've got good sunshine, blue sky, pleasant weather conditions for the most part here for your Friday. Good evaporation trying to take hold here, and we probably have to push pause on that a little bit over the weekend. Overnight, we see clouds increase in west and northwestern parts of Ohio, but I don't look for moisture to get in here until closer to midday in northwest Ohio, north central Ohio for Saturday. The rest of the weekend will feature this on again, off again moisture trying to work through mostly Saturday and Saturday night. I do think that we have a long tail of some moisture in northeastern Ohio early Sunday morning, but the rest of Sunday clears out. Anywhere from a few hundredths to maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch in spots can fall combined for the Saturday, early Sunday time frame here. Next week starts dry and cool. As a matter of fact, temperatures below normal to start the week Monday, Tuesday. A little bit of rain overnight Wednesday night, Thursday, and then back to dry to finish the week. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's check in now with Ty Higgins as he has an update on Farm Bureau's applications being open for the 2027 Young Ag Professionals competitive events.
Applications are now open for the 2027 Ohio Farm Bureau Young Agricultural Professionals competitive events. The program's offering opportunities for those ages 18 to 35 to compete in the discussion meet, Excellence in Agriculture, and Outstanding Young Farmer contests. The discussion meet is designed to simulate a committee meeting, giving participants a chance to demonstrate their ability to discuss ag issues, exchange ideas, and work towards solutions. Applications are due October 1. The Excellence in Agriculture contest recognizes young professionals who are active in agriculture and Farm Bureau, but do not have the majority of their income subject to traditional farm production risk. Applications for that due December 1. And the Outstanding Young Farmer contest recognizes successful farmers for their achievements in farm business and leadership in the agriculture community. Applications for that contest are due also on December 1. State winners receive a $3,000 cash prize, an expense-paid trip to the 2027 Ohio Farm Bureau Annual Meeting, and a trip to the American Farm Bureau Annual Convention in Oklahoma City in 2028 to compete at the national level. You can find out more about the contest and how to apply online now at ohioagnet.com. I'm Ty Higgins reporting.
Thanks, Ty. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue. We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
What's better than getting the trusted farm news you count on from Ohio's Country Journal? Having a chance to win a brand new Arctic Ultra Tough cooler. The Ohio's Country Journal sweepstakes are back. Subscribe or renew your subscription today, and you'll be entered for a chance to win one of 2 45-quart Arctic Ultra Tough coolers. Just visit ocj.com/renew for official rules and to complete your subscription or renewal for your chance to win. Ohio's Country Journal, your source for Ohio farm news.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. Let's check in now with Joel Panorwood as he has an update on the latest trends in land prices.
New numbers are showing that farmland values across the upper Midwest appear to be losing some momentum. Values were unchanged in the second quarter compared to a year before, making the slowest year-over-year growth since late 2024. The latest survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago found gains in Illinois and Iowa, but Indiana and Wisconsin posted declines. Policy advisor David Oppedahl says a number of forces are shaping the farmland market right now.
The main thing is that we've had kind of differential impacts of not only what's happening with, crop and livestock production, but also things like data centers and other developmental opportunities and solar and wind farms. So there's a lot of different factors impacting the farmland markets right now. And so Wisconsin and Indiana had shown some real strong values last quarter and previously, and slowing down there is not, unexpected, whereas Illinois and Iowa maybe saw a little stronger farmland values now just because there, was some increase in crop prices over the, summer here. And so that's kind of maybe made their margins look somewhat better than they did earlier in the year.
He says development pressure also playing a role in farmland prices, with demand from data centers, renewable energy projects, and other uses differing significantly depending on the area, something Ohio no stranger to.
There certainly has been some pushback on data centers and other development. I don't know that it's actually slowing down necessarily. Our contacts still indicated that it's a factor. I think it's just that there'd been such a big increase last year that, previously, that it maybe is a little bit of a coming back, in terms of the data that we're getting. So there's a lot of variability out there right now as, deals happen or maybe don't happen, but certainly it makes it a little chaotic to peg the numbers for any particular, areas, good farmland right now.
The Chicago Fed survey asks agricultural lenders to estimate the value of what it calls good farmland. Oppedahl says that designation is intentionally left somewhat open to interpretation.
We let the lenders define it for themselves, so it's not the worst, not the best, kind of, more average ground, trying to get a feel for, where the majority of the acres are. But at the same time, you do hear that the top quality ones are drawing better bids, of course, and they're staying up a little higher maybe than the lower end.
Of course, for farmers who own the ground, stronger land values can provide additional strength on the balance sheet. But for those producers renting a significant share of their acreage, those same values can make it more difficult for cash rents to come down.
Tend to have a lot of acres that are rented in the Midwest, and that would lead to a situation where the higher farmland values will keep the rents higher, probably just because the owners aren't willing to give up as much in terms of the market signals to them are the land's still valuable, so I don't want to lower rent. Though we do have a lot of understanding landowners in the Midwest that are thinking, well, I want to have a healthy farmer on this land. I don't want to have someone that I'm causing to have extra stress and strains on their operation by, keeping the rents too high given the decrease in corn and soybean prices. So there are lots of ways in which the landowner and the farmer can work together to try to come up with a solution.
In summary, that latest Chicago Fed survey suggests the farmland market beginning to cool, values unchanged from a year ago, and after accounting for inflation, they posted their largest decline in nearly a decade. Looking ahead, most lenders expect farmland values to remain steady, with fewer anticipating additional increases. Policy advisor David Oppedahl with the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago filling us in. I'm Joel Penordwood reporting.
Thanks, Joel. Well, from land prices to corn futures, we're above $5 for the first time in 18 months. Let's check in with Joe Everett for more details.
Corn futures topped the $5 a bushel mark for the first time in 18 months as weaker than expected U.S. crop tour results add to global supply concerns. Reports from western Iowa and Illinois show corn yields below those seen last year, according to data from the Pro Farmer Crop Tour. Yields in 4 other Midwestern states surveyed also came in below the tour's 3-year average. This is after parts of the central U.S., where most of the crop is grown, were recently hit by severe storms and sweltering temperatures early in the summer. Adding to the strain on global supply, Europe was hit by a series of summer heat waves. France is forecasting its smallest corn harvest since 1980, and attacks in the Black Sea have slowed crop exports from Ukraine. Overall, $5 will likely hold as significant resistance for now as we approach harvest, said Naomi Bloom, an analyst at Total Farm Marketing. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Thanks, Joe. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
Wake up, Ohio farmers! Ohio's Country Journal is bringing the coffee to you. We're stopping by rural coffee shops, diners, and your favorite morning gathering spots across the state. And while we're there, the first 25 folks through the door get a free cup of coffee, a limited edition Ohio's Country Journal mug, and the latest issue of OCJ, all on us. Want us to visit your hometown hangout? Head to ocj.com/coffee shop and sign up your local spot today. Brought to you by Leist Mercantile and Ohio's Country Journal, your source for Ohio farm news.
Taking a quick look at livestock news, the Ranch Act is aiming to expand 20 million acres of grazing land to rebuild the cow herd nationwide. This week at Dakota Fest, a pair of bipartisan senators introduced legislation to open 20 million acres throughout a voluntary grazing program to aid in rebuilding the nation's cow herd. Introduced by Senators Mike Rounds and Amy Klobuchar, the Rebuild America's National Cow Herd, or ranch, would provide enough grazing land to support an estimated 2 million to 4 million additional beef cows. To help convert the acres back to grass, the program would pay landowners about 75% of the county's average rental rate for comparable land in commodity production in a 10 to 15-year contract. It's time to take a look at the markets. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company in Upper Sandusky, opening to receive soybeans starting September 1st. Ohio farmers plan to get your RFID tag the week of August 24th from 8 to 5. For more information, call 419-731-7100.
Grain markets finished the Thursday session mostly higher. However, I'm going to call the close a little bit disappointing. Here's what I mean. December corn surpassed the May contract high at 506.5. However, it did not stay there. Finished a nickel and a half higher, but well off the high back at 503.5. So in my mind, that sets today up as a very interesting day. How does the market handle the final combined Pro Farmer Crop Tour numbers? Yesterday, beans took off and made a nice little run to the upside, but also I'm going to call it disappointing as we were lower by a penny and a half, penny to a penny and a half or so, November new crop and September, and only fractionally higher after that. Bean meal was down. Bean oil held the overall bean complex up triple digits. Wheat just followed everybody up higher yesterday. Not a lot of new news in the marketplace. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's take a look now at how the markets closed yesterday. September corn was up 5 3/4 cents, and December corn was up 5 1/2. September soybeans closed the day down a penny and a half, while November soybeans were down 3/4 of a penny. September Kansas City wheat closed the day up 1/4 cent, while September Chicago wheat was up 2 1/2 cents, and September Minneapolis wheat ending the day 6 3/4 cents higher. Let's take a look now at your overnight trade. The market's brought to you by FS Envision and High Soy, seed made for this ground. Learn more at fsseed.com/Ohio. September corn is trading down 2 3/4 cents at $4.76. December new crop corn is down 3 at $5 1/2 cent. September soybeans currently trading down 7 1/4 cents at $12.13 1/2, with November new crop beans 8 cents lower at $12.28 1/2 cent, and wheat for September a penny higher at $6.83 3/4 cents. This is the Ohio AgNet.